Welcome back to Plain Living, where we talk about homesteading, church planting, and simple living here on the plains of South Dakota. Today, we're going to talk about our first 3 years on the mission field. When we left for the mission field, our home church made us this special quilt, and everyone signed it and put their favorite Bible verses, so we hung it in our living room as soon as we got here. We immediately hit the streets door knocking and handing out invitations to have Bible study here in our living room. We weren't exactly sure how that was going to turn out, inviting people into our home for Bible study, but we actually had great crowds. We had so many people come that we had to split off the kids' class and do that in our schoolroom. So we quickly rented a community center and had new invitations printed up to invite people to our Bible study at the local community center. By the end of winter, we had outgrown the community center and we were ready to start having more regular services more times a week than just on a Thursday night. The Lord showed us this building and it fit well within our budget, but it needed some work. You can see that everything was painted burgundy, walls were in the wrong places, and it just needed a general cleaning up. So we got to work remodeling, raising funds, and getting things in shape. The Lord sent a team from Wings Bearing Precious Seed to help us, and they helped the finishing touches of the remodeling. They helped us get everything prepared on the outside. They helped us host our grand opening service, and they were overall just a wonderful blessing to us. You can see how much we had to tear things out, put things back together, reconfigure the walls. We had to put in new bathrooms and a kitchen to meet building code. It just took a lot to get this building in shape, but we had big plans to stay here for a long time. We were able to start meeting in the church and plan for a grand opening event. On Mother's Day in 2022, we held a grand opening service, and we had a great crowd. Everyone that came in got a quick tour of our newly redone building. You can see here the stairs up to the nursery, beautiful decor that the team helped us come up with. These black cafe chairs were donated to us. One of the ladies hand drew this shiplap on the doors, so we had a wonderful backdrop for the preacher. We had an altar. We had music and instruments. We had a wonderful crowd at our grand opening. And they even spent some time on outreach with us and helped us to connect with our community. They put in a lot of hard work, scrubbing floors, cleaning the carpets, hosing down the sidewalks, getting ready. We really appreciated all their help. We had family music that we sang as specials. And even the ladies put some hard work into getting things put together, things hung on the walls, and just everything in perfect order for us to continue to have our church services in this building. As we continued to grow, we started to do a little bit more work. We did some outside work to grade the yard so that it would be nice for the kids to play. And then we had Brother Lamar Whittemore come and do an event to feed people in the town during a festival. And we had several new people come. So over the course of that year, we had family game nights and birthday parties and events, and we were able to take most of the church and turn it into a fellowship hall so that we had space. We even grew to the point where we needed some storage in the back. We got these wonderful padded chairs that were such an upgrade from the black ones. We had Lily's birthday party that turned into an outreach event, and we had 40 or 50 people there, including new families that started to come to the church. Then in January of 2023, we had Brother Chris Hewitt come and teach a soul winning conference, and we had great crowds at that for the week. Here you can see our children's Sunday school classroom. We were able to have about 15 children, and we were able to see people baptized there in our church building. Overall, we really enjoyed and loved and appreciated our little church building, and we started having Patch Club with the kids. And not to sound disjointed or crazy in my storytelling, but we just overall really enjoyed our building and were able to do a lot of ministry in the small space. Now, we're going to jump to a little bit different story going on in the background for just a minute. In March of 2024, we moved to a new house, and shortly after we moved in, the farmer that farms all around the property wanted to move this garage so that he could run his pivot through that area. The pivot is a big irrigation system that powers itself in a circle. So he came up with this plan with our landlord to move this garage from behind our house over onto the side of our house. And he did this by cutting the building out of the concrete, like with a saw, and then installing I-beams underneath it, raising it up with grain bin jacks, and then they backed this trailer up under it. This trailer is made for moving like mobile homes. And then they drove it off of this pad out into the field and then backed it up onto a brand new fresh concrete pad that they had poured. So this is definitely something we had never experienced. It's not something that you see down south a lot. Apparently out west, this is a normal everyday occurrence that we're jacking up buildings and moving them around. In fact, usually they're driving down the road, moving across the county or the state, not just moving around a piece of property. So this was a new, exciting experience for us, and we had no idea what the Lord had in store for it, but we were able to get brand new concrete and this nice garage put over by the house. And here is the final ascent. You can see they've got to back it up this hill to get up onto the concrete pad. This was quite an adventure because they did not have all of the appropriate machinery. You can see there's quite a few men out here working on it. And this is right off of our back porch. You can see how close the garage will be once they have it in place. This was certainly an entertaining evening for us because we had never seen anything even remotely close to this. And it was still wintertime when this happened, so while they finished that up and the sun went down, I went inside to enjoy the fire, and you can see out the window here as the buildings slowly blocked our beautiful view of the sunset and was set in place. And that is where the building remains today. Now I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not just telling a weird story about moving a building, so stay tuned as we continue to update about our first 3 years on the field. In May of 2024, our entire region experienced some major flooding events. We had flooding all around our county, all the way down into Iowa. It was much more severe south of us. Thankfully, our house and all of our buildings are slightly elevated from the rest of our property, so our home didn't receive any damage. But the church building, when we went to check on it after the flood, unfortunately had quite a bit of water in it up the walls. And we immediately brought in dehumidifiers, carpet cleaners, all sorts of equipment to try to dry it out, to try to clean up, to try to avoid the mold. But we just couldn't get everything to dry out. So some of the men started taking drywall out and running inspection cameras up into the wall. And it turned out there was quite a bit of mold, not only that had formed from the flooding, but that had been there for quite a while. And to the point that it needed to be professionally remediated and was going to take not only a lot of money, but a lot of time. And unfortunately, the landlord for the building did not want to do those things, and we did not feel like it was safe to continue to meet there with the mold. In fact, our people all said that they would not bring their babies into the church knowing that there was black mold in it. So we were in a month-to-month lease. We were able to step away from that, but that put us back in the situation of nowhere to meet for church. So that was a little bit of a conundrum. This is our final walk through the building after we had moved everything out and just taking one last look around as a family at everything that the Lord had done for us, all the things that we had watched happen, the growth that we had seen, and just thinking back on those old red walls and all the work that we had done to get it into shape. Now, real estate in our area makes it very difficult to find a building that is both in our budget and up to the building codes as a meeting place. There are all kinds of additional requirements for a church building to have that are very expensive for us to remodel, and buildings are just hard to find. So we were able to meet in the local community hall one Sunday, and then we were able to find an event hall that hosts weddings. They allowed us to rent it out for Sunday mornings, and we were also able to use the dance floor for Patch Club. Now, this worked great for us, but it was not a permanent solution because some of the Sundays it was booked for a wedding, some Wednesdays it was not available, so we weren't able to meet consistently. So we came together with the church and we decided that we would, as a permanent, temporary solution, have church in our garage. Yep, I'm talking about that garage. So bear with us, I'm going to show you the process of turning our 3-car garage into a church. Now, we did use this garage previously for some events. We were able to have half of it set aside to host a baby shower and to have friends over. So there wasn't too much to move out, but we did have to clear out our storage side. We removed this wood furnace that we planned to install back for wintertime on the outside and duct in some heating into the building. But we removed this, we put it in storage in another building, and then we started to remove all of our storage items. I want to give you a quick look around the garage so you can see exactly what we're working with. So the garage is a little over 40 feet long and quite wide. In fact, there is more space here than there was inside of our church building. So this is what we were starting with after we took everything out, and we had a lot of cleaning to do because this garage was filthy. Well, that was definitely a project. So up next, we painted all the walls. They needed a nice, crisp, fresh coat of white paint. So we had a bunch of people come out and help us get all of it painted, and then we got some nice trim put up. We have already had several services in our new church garage, and we have had a great turnout every time. We have Sunday school in the dining room. We have a little nursery in our library. We have a pulpit and an altar and instruments, and we have our sound system set up. And we even have a wonderful place out in the yard for the kids to play when class is over. We don't know what the next steps are for Cornerstone Baptist Church or what the Lord might have in store. For now, welcome to our Charage, or Church Garage. Thanks for joining us today to hear about our first 3 years on the mission field and how God is working in our building situation. Subscribe to our channel for more updates on our homesteading, church planting, and simple living here on the plains of South Dakota.